Welcome back, everybody, to America on the Road. Jack Nerad back with you. We are outside Knoxville, Tennessee, in the beautiful Smoky Mountains at the newest of the Bronco Rodeo sites with Mike Weller of Ford, Bronco brand manager, Bronco Sport brand manager.
That's right.
Brand manager. A lot to talk about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, where do you want to begin? What do you think is the most important feature of the 2025 that you're presenting to people today?
Yeah, the exciting news, of course, is the Sasquatch package, now available on Bronco Sport. We made it available on the Badlands and the Outer Banks models. The thing is incredible. We've had it on Bronco and people love it, and we've adapted that and brought that capability to Bronco Sport, and it is the real deal. It's
I think what you found was when you launched Bronco Sport, certainly a major success for Ford Motor Company, both the Broncos actually, but Bronco Sport maybe doesn't get the acclaim that the Bronco does in terms of being a success, but a very big success for Ford. You found that those buyers wanted more capability, right? And so that in response, you're doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, the Badlands model was already second to none in the segment, but our customers, we spent a lot of time with them. We went off-roading with them, we went camping with them, and they demanded more. So we dialed it up, not just a capability upgrade from a suspension and other aspects, but we also dialed up the durability and the toughness with things like underbody protection.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because there's a lot of profilers, I think, in this segment. You know, the compact utility segment is a major segment. I think it's the hottest selling segment in the entire market. There's a lot of vehicles that would like to look like they go off-road, but don't necessarily have the chops. Walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, everything we developed is the real deal. We've got steel-plated bumpers, meant to be a robust contact point for off-roading, steel bash plates, steel everything underbody. So it's the real deal. And then we've got casted recovery points for the inevitable instance where you're stuck somewhere, or we've all been there. So it's all robust, intentional, and absolutely intended for the customer to take this thing off-road.
Walk us through some of the features of the Sasquatch package.
Yeah. Frankly, it starts with your connection to the ground. So we brought Goodyear All-Terrain tires, the Goodyear Territory that was built on the Bronco Sasquatch. We brought that to the Bronco Sport, so we've got 29-inch Goodyear tires. They're the largest in the class, and those are really aggressive and actually intentionally designed for fast driving off-road, so it's a lot of fun.
Right, and can be deflated and, okay for that.
And you've got aggressive tread on the outer wall of the tire, so when you deflate a little bit, you maintain a lot of grip. So really awesome tires. Sasquatch also adds, as I mentioned, the recovery points. You got 1 on each side of the vehicle, D-ring in the rear and casted up front. And speaking of up front, bolted to the recovery hooks is a brush guard. So that'll protect your front grille. And again, it's steel. It's not going anywhere. And it's a really awesome feature.
I mean, a lot of your off-roading kind of customers demanded steel up front, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep, that's what they need. They need the actual protection because, frankly, with Bronco Sport, a lot of our customers, or most of our customers really, this is their daily driver. They need it to go to and from work, take their kids to school, go get groceries, but they absolutely love being outdoors and going off-road. So they need to have that confidence that they can take it off-road, have a ton of fun, but it not go out of service during the week.
Right. And that it works well as that. I mean, it's inexpensive to buy. I think it's pretty inexpensive to own. Good fuel economy, for example. Doesn't beat you up day to day as you're commuting in this vehicle. You can use it as a day-to-day vehicle with a great deal of utility, and then go off-road. So it's a great situation, isn't it?
And speaking of that day-to-day use case, we also standardized a ton of technology in the vehicle and made a lot of upgrades. So we now got a class-leading 13.2-inch center screen that brings Sync 4. Sync 4 brings wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. We've now added a standard wireless charging pad, and we've also standardized our assisted driver technology. So Ford Copilot 360 Assist Plus, which has things like adaptive cruise control with lane centering and even stop and go. That's standard. Blind spot monitoring. So we made the day-to-day drive during the week, like I mentioned, a lot more pleasing, and then we dialed it up for the off-road.
Big digital display, driver instrumentation. I mean, like a luxury vehicle, you'd pay extra for, something like I think it's 13.2 inch or something like that. Digital instrument display. big screen infotainment with Sync 4 that works really, really well. So your day-to-day is covered. I mean,
Exactly.
I am reviewing infotainment systems as much as I'm reviewing powertrains these days when I'm talking about vehicles. But let's talk a little bit about powertrain in this vehicle.
Yep. So our powertrains are carryover from the offering from 2024. So we have the 1.5 liter engine, which is available on everything other than the Badlands. And then your Badlands gets the 2 liter engine.
Mm-hmm. And horsepower and torque, give me kind of ballpark figures.
Yep, we're 238 in the 2 liter and 180 on the 1.5. I want to check back on torque. I don't want to give you wrong numbers.
Yeah, okay. Goat modes.
Yes.
You kind of upgraded that whole situation, right?
Yeah. So I think one of the ones that'll stand out to a lot of people. So we've got 5 goat modes in all of our vehicles, but Badlands has 7. But one of the changes to those 5 was we now have an off-road mode. In 2024, that mode was called Sand. Off-road makes it a more expands where you can.
It's ecumenical. It's any kind of off-roading.
Exactly right.
And the vehicle kind of senses what it needs to do, right, and adapts that way.
It upgrades the throttle response, the brake response, the gear ratios, and a lot of other things. So off-road mode's really great. And then with Badlands, I mentioned there's 7, so the 2 additional are our new rally mode, which we're super excited about, and then rock crawl mode.
And the rally mode's for going fast on sand and that kind of thing. Kind of maybe Western Desert. I guess there's sand running in other areas too, but that kind of primarily that.
Exactly, yeah. Badlands Sasquatch feels most at home. We're ripping it over sand dunes. We even have an upgraded 850-watt cooling fan, as well as other coolings throughout the suspension and other parts of the vehicle. So it's meant for that high-speed running over sand.
And it is hot. It can be hot.
Fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. What are some of the features you really like about this vehicle? Something that's important to you, maybe in your day-to-day life, something you run into, that you just feel, wow, this is really pretty good.
I think one of the really creative features that was added was fender tie-downs on either side of the vehicle. So for my day-to-day, my wife and I have a paddleboard. Right now with our 24 Sport, we lower the rear seats, we open up the flip
stand-up paddleboard?
Yes.
Yeah, love them.
And in order to carry it, it sticks out the back of our vehicle. Now with these fender tie-downs that are integrated within the side of the vehicle, we can secure it on the top of our vehicle. Those straps go off to the side so they're not within my field of view, and they're not going to rub on the paint.
And they're not rubbing on the paint.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Right.
I mean, I've had little sailboats and canoes all my life, and now stand-up paddleboards too. And that's important, just to avoid that lines in your sight line or ropes in your sight line and other things. It's a great feature. And it's really well integrated too, I think. Yeah.
Genius feature, and absolute shout out to the team that developed it because it was really cool.
Great
really smart
stuff. Describe to me how the Bronco Sport customer differs from the Bronco customer, because I think there's probably significant differences and then some similarities.
Yeah, definitely some different use cases. I like to say if the Bronco Sport can clear it from a ground clearance standpoint, it'll take on that obstacle. So with Bronco, you get the higher ground clearance, among other things. So we definitely see full-size Bronco customers off-roading even more than we see our Bronco Sport customers, and our Bronco Sport customers are really driving off-road. We also have half of our Bronco Sport buyers are female. And that's a great.
I wondered about that. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah.
We have we're reaching a great audience with our Bronco Sport, and that's, I think, one of the differences between the vehicles is just who we're reaching. And
are you finding that they're loving off-roading, getting into off-roading and doing that?
Yeah, I wish people would more. I think one of the tools to help people get more confidence in doing that is going to our Bronco Off-Rodeo. We're at our 5th location now.
Right.
It's free for Bronco Sport buyers as well as it is for Bronco. So the full day experience, you use our vehicles, not your own. You have expert trail guides to coach you the whole way. And we have people coming out of that with absolute confidence that they can use their vehicle as it's intended.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is a sport that seems daunting, perhaps, if you haven't done it. But once you're doing it with experts, and I really recommend doing it with experts to begin with, so the rodeo is the perfect place to get that expertise, then you feel much more comfortable about it. And it's not nuclear science. There's physics in it. There's geometry in it. All of those sciences. But at the same time, it's just so much fun as well.
It is a ton of fun.
And you have these locations kind of not all over the country, right? The rodeos.
This will be our 5th location. We've got one in New Hampshire, one in Austin, Texas, one outside of Las Vegas, and then Moab, Utah. Yeah. So now we're within 500 miles of 80% of our buyers, so it's really, really accessible.
Right. And you're opening this up to non-Bronco owners too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. That was a new introduction in the 4th quarter of 2024, where we introduced the half-day experience. Anyone can go through that experience. It's about a 4-hour experience, pay as you go. I think
driving somebody else's vehicle off-road, the way to start.
Exactly right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, risk-free. Yeah. Can't beat it.
So, and I think it's a great marketing move for Ford and for Bronco itself.
Yeah. It's an experience that no one can touch us with. It's great.
Absolutely. And it's taking some investment too. I mean, these facilities don't come out of thin air, do they?
It's worth it though, because customers that are going are remaining loyal to the Ford brand because they're really getting the most out of their vehicle. Right. We see accessory purchases. We see people who bring guests are actually buying vehicles. So the investment's definitely worthwhile. Those
of you associated with the Bronco brand, both Sport and full-size Bronco, have got to be gratified with what's happening with this vehicle. I mean, I was telling somebody on this trip, I mean, Bronco really is kind of the last bastion of domestics in my neighborhood in Southern California, right? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Broncos, some Bronco Sports, almost no other domestic vehicles from any manufacturer. And it's because this really resonates in a way that other vehicles don't.
I love to hear that. I think we appeal to a lot of different people because we have something for everyone. We've got a 4-door Bronco, a 2-door Bronco, a Bronco Sport, Sasquatch, the Black Diamond package available on Big Bend. So we really have something for everyone. So the Bronco family as a whole with our 3 vehicles is a really great brand for us.
And Bronco Sport, very accessible. I think you can get into one for less than $30,000. There's some damn few vehicles of any type available for $30,000 or less than $30,000 these days. A lot less one with kind of presence and a cool factor that you won't find in pretty much the other vehicles, right?
And don't forget all of the stuff that we've standardized, right? It's that price point with the content you're getting, I think is really unbeatable.
Yeah, terrific. Well, thanks for inviting me here. Thanks for standing and talking with me about that right in front of this wonderful Bronco Sport. And Mike Weller, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Fun product to work on. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And that was our interview with Ford's Mike Weller. He's the brand manager for the Ford Bronco Sport. Our thanks to him for joining us. Our thanks to Ford for the opportunity to get a very early drive of that Ford Bronco Sport for 2025. And we'll tell you all about that next week. So join us next week for that review. And we're so glad you're with us. Thanks so much for joining us on America on the Road. We do appreciate it. And if you like the show, please pass it along to somebody who might also like the show. We'd love to have that and help the show grow. And that'll help us overall, so we'd appreciate that very much. And stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back right here with more of America on the Road.